On mute now. Am I on now? Hi. Yes. Hello, everyone. Um, First, I want to give thanks to God for bringing us all here together using technology. Can you hear?
No, it's not. It's gone. No, what happened? They are on mute. Huh? They are on mute. Mute. Yeah. Yeah. It's human. Yeah. muting.
But I can't hear anything.
They are all on mute. They are mute except you.
But I'm not on mute.
Yeah, so you have to talk. They are
Oh
on mute.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm talking now.
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone hear me now? Because I can't hear anything back. I don't know. Oh, they can hear. Okay. Okay. All right. First of all, thank you everyone for coming out. Oh God, what is this now? What is this? Oh, not yet. Okay, not yet. Okay. I'm not on it.
I still mute.
We can hear you.
Ja.
Hi, good evening. Am I on now? Okay, okay. Good evening. First of all, I want to thank everyone who has taken the time out to spend this last time of remembering my father. We've heard so many things of him from people here, but I promise you that there are many, many more whose lives he has touched in a very real, spiritual way. Because though you will hear I tried to condense his life in 12 minutes, but though he had an issue with church, he was a deeply spiritual man. And there are people he has touched who has told me since he has passed, shared with me their journey with him. I've had the honor and blessing of neighbors who he came to know while he spent time here with me. One such who is here, who when he saw him, he said, "Oh my gosh, that's my father." I don't know if you can see. He came back to me and said, "But Ingrid, that's my father. He really was spooked." And this is my neighbor, Mr. Etisieng. Yeah. I hope I said it right. Yes. And he literally wanted to touch his hair because he said it was just like him. But, there are people as far as Kenya and Tanzania who sent in and said they definitely needed to see him before he passed and to give a last word. They weren't able to, but they definitely are in prayers. So having said that, I decided to record the eulogy, which will be a eulogy stroke memorial, because I did not want to spoil it by having any issues with connectivity. So God bless you all for coming out. God bless you for sharing with us all the memories that we remember, and the further that we will share after this online, to keep the fire going, to keep that little light going, because definitely, I tell you, he lit a spark here in Africa, across the continent, which you will hear. So thank you all.
Look at it muted now.
Alfred Augustus Luyten was born in Kingston, Jamaica on March 12, 1939, 81 years ago, to Carmelita Ingleton and Elijah Lothian. The name Luyten was recorded, I am told, because a registering person of his birth misspelt the name Lothian, a common occurrence in Jamaica at the time. Daddy always said, "I'm a lucky man, you know." He was a happy and confident man. He made things happen, and never took no for an answer. I think everyone would concur that he was a natural talker. Freddie, Gummy, Al, as he was affectionately called, started his formal schooling at St. Annie's Primary School, progressing to Kingston Technical High School, where he met many of his lifelong friends, including my mother Kathleen and his future in-laws. They married on February 3rd, 1962, producing myself, April, Andrew, and Licia. He loved learning and debating unusual topics. While at the University of the West Indies, he had the distinction of meeting the future president of the Republic of Tanzania, who invited him to move to Tanzania with his small family then. Mommy would have none of it, but the African seed was planted. He later had the honor of meeting one of Nyerere's contemporaries of the time, Kenneth Kaunda, engaging in discussions of African development, much to his delight. As a teenager, Freddie was a Boy Scout and an active sportsman. Cricket was his favorite, out of cricket and football. He remained a member of the Melbourne Cricket Club for years as an adult. He was a master domino player, and I think Lisa somehow inherited that talent. As a young man, he was active in church as his mother, whom he was very close to, was a senior member of the City Mission Church. He was a proud and expert poco drum player, he often told me, and he dabbled with the organ too. Not a bad voice as well. Storytelling was his forte. Just about everyone could tell you of his long sessions talking about many interesting topics and always motivating you to do well. As a result, many people looked up to him with respect, even if they just met him. He was dedicated in all his jobs, and he often told me that he had never applied for a job, instead landing positions from sheer luck of being in the right place at the right time. The fact that he remained close to his first in-laws is testament to his engaging personality. Although his first marriage was dissolved, he did his best in a difficult situation to be involved with his children. It meant a lot to him that Kathleen eventually acknowledged that, "You're a good man, you know," before her passing. He remained close to his childhood friends, some of whom are with us today. I know them from the many sessions listening to stories of parties, outings, domino sessions, spouses they met and married, debates they had, that he won, of course, long walks from football and cricket matches and parties. The name Gummy, by the way, was derived from his winning smile as a youngster, with beautiful teeth and gums. His youthful look is evident even in death. He surrounded us with books. As general manager of Grolier International Encyclopedia, he was hands-on in growing the company to where it stiffly challenged any competition. He was a faithful friend. He hired many of his friends and family in the business, including myself as a 9-year-old on weekends, where my job was putting stamps on envelopes. And if I remember correctly, my first pay was $10. In the late 1970s, the company relocated him to the U.S. Virgin Islands as a regional manager of Grolier International Encyclopedia Company, where he continued his amazing talent at company growth and mentoring people. He encouraged one lady who he worked with for 22 years to go to university, and he was proud to tell me that she's finally graduating this year. Daddy set up many in business and sent young people to school. He was a great study buddy, and he could bounce ideas. You could bounce ideas with him with a promise to get a well-rounded opinion. On October 29, 1982, he married the rock of his life, Monica, and they settled down in St. Thomas, where they managed a new life with a blended family to include Charmaine Kirk and Trudy Williams. Daddy was always a conciliatory person and sought to split justice and balance in his unique way. He encouraged all of us to do courses at the University of the Virgin Islands, and sometimes the entire Luyten and Williams clan would be in class together. He and I attended courses at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy in Singapore together, which was an eye-opening experience for both of us. He was very supportive of all his children and paid attention to each one's unique talent. He would call Charmaine to hear her beautiful singing even from Canada. He was at the birth of his first grandchild, Christopher, whom he insisted on naming Wisdom, and still referred to him as Wizzy sometimes. He still talked about Lisa's acting talent, and Andrew tells of spotting him in the crowd at his school football matches in the daytime, having left work to watch. It is evident that he treated all his children with an attitude of belonging and sought earnestly to make for one big, happy family. He assumed the position of the circulation director of the Daily News, and for over 25 years, in this time, he introduced newspaper readership in schools. Al loved children. He created special inserts in the newspaper for graduates to have their pictures and achievements posted. He won many awards for the Daily News among the Gannett newspaper group, and I dare opine that the company felt the impact of his contribution. After his first retirement, he partnered with the Avis newspaper in St. Croix and started a booster paper called The Independent News for St. Thomas. Readership and sales immediately increased in St. Thomas. After 2 years, the Avis took over and he retired for a second time. The Daily News again recalled him before he retired for the final time 10 years ago. Al was always a dedicated volunteer in many charities, including United Way, where he was president, and the Rotary Club, where he was the undisputed champion salesman for hundreds of raffle books to send students to college.
Hi, Joan, could you please let Ingrid in?
Who can forget that figure sitting outside the St. Thomas Post Office, where he strategically placed himself to greet everyone coming out, of course, encouraging them to buy raffle tickets. I received many a call chatting with him in between his sales, even making me talk to some of his customers. "Here, talk to my daughter in Africa," he'd say. His wife, Monica, quietly supported him and he did nothing without consulting her. She especially wanted his work with young people highlighted. He started farms across Africa and Jamaica, helping young people to create their own source of income. He spent his last days supporting and mentoring young people, drawing on his early Marcus Garvey UNIA teachings, which he proudly told me that both his parents were organizers for. 2 days before his passing, the first set of goat kids dropped in Ghana from the goat project he set up with a young lady just this last February. Upon his departure from Ghana, he left instructions for setting up a sheep pen, which he micromanaged after returning home to St. Thomas. Every day, he would call to get updates and pictures until it was completed. He made whole communities very happy and was preparing to return to see them. The community in Adome village in Ghana has been in mourning in disbelief at his passing. He truly did things his way. He climbed part of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, the highest mountain in Africa, even before me. He was given a proper Maasai tribal welcome. He left the macaque and goats to rear, which are still doing well. He developed a genuine friendship and special relationship with all he encountered, leaving a memorable experience. Al was an ardent talk show participant in St. Thomas, and he would call even when he was in Africa. Everywhere he went, he educated on the value of Africa, and he lived what he preached. He was active in several Pan-African groups we both belonged to, and the members appreciated his experienced insight. Although he debated the ills of organized religion, he was a deeply spiritual man. His debates were epic. We literally talked or communicated every day, sometimes twice per day, and he always made me feel like you were the only special one in the world, greeting you with, "Hi, how are you? I'm glad you called," or "I'm glad you answered." "By the way," was his favorite phrase to not end a conversation. On June 5th, 2020 morning, after a very short illness for which he was flown to Florida for tests and treatment, my brother called me to tell me Daddy was gone. If tears could bring him back, we would all not be here today. He always said to me, "I'm at peace," and would break out in that hymn, "It is well with my soul." He's even smiling. Only Alfred Augustus Luyten could pull that one off. As in life, in death, he smiled. Calls and tears came in from all his children all over Africa for Daddy, but I can tell him that Babu, Grandpa in Kiswahili, is at peace. He has left the following to reflect on fond memories of his life. Wife, Monica, children, Ingrid, Andrew, Charmaine, Kirk, Trudy, 11 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, Sister Ruthlyn Britton, Brother Reverend Henley James, other family, and many friends. He is sorely missed. Hamanigasle, Kuanahiri, Ochina, walk good Daddy, and happy Father's Day. Truly, a giant has walked among us. Medase. To God be all the glory. May his soul rest in eternal peace.